How you doing? Welcome back to this next segment of Ask the Patent Attorney. I'm Nate Lewinsky here with Vin LoTempio of Claw, Stengler & LoTempio out of Western New York. Although he does service the whole country, because in this day and age with the internet and everything, just a simple call and a simple type on the old computer there, and you can get help with an attorney for all your patent needs and anything you got going on.
Well, absolutely, and we get a lot of questions throughout the whole country. And the most recent question we just had is, what do I benefit? What do I gain from trademark registration?
Right, that is. Exactly. So we had a couple of things. We've already talked about trademarks in some of our past segments. So what is that? What is the main thing that I'm looking at? I'm trying to gain something. I'm looking at patents. I'm looking at copyrights. Trademark. What am I gaining out of that?
Well, again, you're protecting your brand and you're protecting your product or your service, so people recognize you're the one that provides this. And the question is now you've got this name out there and you're using it. How else can I protect it? How could I stop other people from selling it? Well, right away, the minute you start using it, you gain rights. They call them common law rights. So unlike patent, where if you use it, somebody can steal your idea, with trademark, if you can prove you used it first and you've used it in this geographic location, well, then you gain superior rights in that. And that's called common law rights. Well, what's the next step? The next step is to register it nationally, so everyone in the country could see that you own that trademark.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the benefits? What do you gain by registering it? First, it proves that you're the owner. Once you register it, you're putting everybody in the whole entire country on notice, constructive notice, that you are the owner of that trademark. And some people call it constructive use, and that you've used it throughout the country, because here you are on the national website saying that you're using it on January 1st, 2001, and nobody could say you didn't have it on that site, so on that date. So what happens is, if someone goes to search that mark, you're registered, you're on the trademark site, they're going to say, well, hell, it's already registered. Let's pick some other kind of name out. Whereas if you're just using it locally and selling it on the internet, and then somebody else goes to register it before you, they're the first person to file it before you. Well, you're starting a lawsuit. Now it's an argument as to who has it first. Once you register it, there's no question. You were the first person to register it. Now, there could be some question as to who was the first person to use the mark, but certainly there's not going to be any question as to who was the first person to register it. Now, they're fighting the uphill battle, so that registration, being that first person, is very important. Next, which is important, is if you're having goods that you are selling outside the country, or people are trying to import them from China. All the problems we're having right now with protecting our intellectual property by the people in China are just basically copying us, reverse engineering, selling it, copying everything that we're doing, and then they're shipping it back into the United States. If you have a registered trademark, you could register it with Customs and Border Protection, and if they see your trademark being shipped into the country, they'll stop it from being shipped into the country. So it's a very, very powerful tool just for that reason alone. And then we're talking about the Circle R. You know what the Circle R is, Nate?
Rights reserved, is that what it is?
Well, it means it's registered. It means you're registered trademark. So you see, on Tim Hortons or on Nike, you'll see that little Circle R, or just superscript on the top. You cannot use the Circle R unless you're registered. It means you are a registered trademark of Nike, and you're putting people on notice. This is my mark. Don't steal it. Now, we talked earlier about common law. And this is something that an inventor or somebody using a trademark should know, is that you don't need to be registered to put the TM or the SM. You sometimes just see SM. That's your service mark. If you were an accountant or a lawyer like myself, I sell a service. I don't sell the goods, so I'm a service mark. So if I have a service mark, I would put the little S on. But if you're selling goods, you're Nike, you have a line of sneakers, you'd put the Circle R or the TM on your trademark on your goods. And a lot of people use the TM while they're waiting for the registration to come through, or just to put people on notice. This is my common law right. I'm claiming this is my trademark. So be aware that if you try to steal this mark, I'm going to sue you. So start using that TM right away, right now, in everything that you claim to be your trademark. There's a nice piece of advice that I think every inventor should know. And finally, it gives you a right, once it's registered, to be able to bring a lawsuit in the federal courts. Now, when you're just using it locally, you have common law rights. It's technically just a state right, unless you're having some sort of commerce that crosses state lines. But by registering it, you're becoming national, you're becoming federal, and you get your ticket into the federal court. So there's many great benefits from registration, and the biggest one is to secure it, and you're the first person to actually put everyone in the country on notice that that's your trademark.
Well, excellent. I mean, I think you answered that question fully. I don't know even what else I could even add to that, but as you can see, it's a very important thing that if you've got an original idea, even if it's just the makings of it, and it's something that's a trademarkable concept or like a logo or a name,
yeah, the branding.
When you're branding, you can put that on there, and like you said, with that TM, it kind of holds it, but you should be giving a patent attorney a call. You should be giving Patent Home a call because you need to have that trademark to protect yourself down the line. You got to be getting that registration.
Registration protection, and it's more than just filling out an application. There's a lot that goes into what makes a good and bad trademark, and you can probably find out in one of our other episodes with regard to how to pick that name. But registration is vital, and being the first person to do it and doing it right is very important to protecting that name.
Sure. So give Vin a call over down here. 1-800 number reaches right to his cell phone, patenthome.com, Klaus Stengler and LoTempio. And please give us some more questions so we can open up the topics, give you some more information, and help you with your ideas and your startups and your companies and your patents and anything else you need. And we appreciate hearing from you and glad that you watched.
Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.